Most people lose their power the moment they show their hunger, their fear, their need to be noticed, understood, and validated. And the world punishes them for it. The truth is brutal. People only respect what is rare, calm, and distant. When you act like you don't need anything, the world chases you. When you act indifferent, you become powerful. This is the art of indifference. Not being careless, but being untouchable. The Stoic way, the warrior way, the way men once lived, before the world softened them. Seneca once said that the man who tries to control everything controls nothing, but the man who controls himself controls his entire world. Most people exhaust themselves trying to force outcomes. They chase people. They chase approval. They chase outcomes they can't command. And the more they chase, the more life slips away from them. The Stoics practiced a form of indifference that was sharp, disciplined, and masculine. Indifference to everything not under their control. This wasn't laziness. It wasn't apathy. It was a decision. If it is outside my control, it cannot disturb me. Your reputation, you don't fully control it. Your relationships, you don't fully control them. The future, you control your actions, not the outcome. When you learn this, a strange thing happens. You stop clinging. You stop begging. You stop fearing. The world sees you becoming silent, steady, unshaken. And suddenly, people come to you. Not because you chased them, but because you stopped demanding anything at all. This is the first step of indifference. Command yourself so completely that external chaos becomes background noise. Be the bronze statue in the storm. Let the world move. Let the elements rage. You remain still. They say Marcus Aurelius once watched a servant spill wine across the palace floor. Courtiers gasped. The servant trembled, certain he'd be punished. But the emperor didn't move. He didn't shout. He didn't even frown. He simply said, "It is only a cup. It is only wine." The palace fell silent. The message was clear. If the emperor treated small problems as catastrophes, the empire would collapse. But if he remained steady, the empire would too. This is the Stoic secret. The world studies your reaction. When you show that nothing external can disturb you, you rise above everything that once controlled you. Epictetus trained his students in silence, real silence, hours without speaking, days where he forced them to watch, to listen, to understand without interrupting. He believed a man who talks too much is a man who exposes his weakness, his fears, his desires, his insecurity. And nothing kills power faster than making your inner world public. Modern men have forgotten this art. They overshare. They explain themselves. They defend every decision like frightened boys seeking approval. But the Stoic speaks only with intention. When you speak less, you stop giving people ammunition. You stop leaking your emotions. You stop exposing the places where you can be touched, manipulated, or controlled. People become curious. People lean in. Your presence grows heavier. Your silence becomes a message in itself. I do not need to prove myself to anyone. This is the second law of indifference. Reserve your words. Watch more. Speak only when it matters. Your silence is a fortress. And most men don't even realize they've given theirs away. It's said that a group of young philosophers once mocked Epictetus for being too quiet. They mistook silence for weakness, for insecurity. Epictetus didn't argue. He didn't defend himself. He simply waited, listened, observed them reveal their vanity with every word. When the time finally came to speak, he said only one sentence. A man who speaks without thinking is like a warrior who swings without aiming. The hall fell silent. His silence wasn't fear. It was control. It was discipline. And it made every word he spoke strike like a blade. Most men care instinctively. They react. They panic. They cling. Their emotions pull them like strings on a puppet. But Stoics cared with intention, never automatically. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "Your mind becomes stronger when you teach it what to ignore." He understood something most never learn. Not everything deserves a reaction. Not everyone deserves a piece of your soul. The man who cares about everything becomes exhausted. The man who cares about nothing becomes empty. The man who chooses what to care about becomes unstoppable. Indifference doesn't mean you never care. It means you decide when to care and when to walk away. Most people care impulsively, but you, from now on, you care with discipline. You care with purpose. You care with strength. Seneca taught that emotions are like storms. They arrive suddenly. They roar. They demand attention, but they are temporary visitors, not rulers, and the man who treats them as truth becomes their slave. Anger comes, fear comes, jealousy comes, but so do thunderstorms, so do earthquakes, so do raging oceans, and none of these control the mountain that stands above them. Indifference means this: you feel emotion, but you do not bow to it. You witness it, but you don't mistake it for identity. A man who reacts emotionally becomes predictable. But the man who stands still while his emotions rage within him becomes unfathomable, powerful, untouchable. There's an old legend of a soldier who stood motionless during battle. Arrows flew, horses screamed, men fell around him, but he didn't flinch, didn't even blink. His commander asked him after the battle, "Were you not afraid?" The soldier replied, "I was afraid, but fear is only a visitor. I do not serve it." This is Stoic power, not the absence of emotion, but the refusal to kneel to it. You want to know the fastest path to power? Mystery, distance, restraint. The Stoics understood this long before psychology gave it a name. When you stop explaining yourself, people wonder. When you stop chasing, people follow. When you stop oversharing, your silence becomes magnetic. Most men let the world read them like a cheap book. Everything on display, every emotion visible, every insecurity exposed. But the Stoic, he shows nothing, unless he chooses. Indifference is not merely detachment. It is strategy. It is presence. It is the power to make the world question what burns inside you. The Stoics knew one thing above all: power is not taken. Power is revealed when a man stops leaking it, when he stops reacting, when he stops needing. Indifference does not make you cold. It makes you focused. It makes you unreachable. It makes you dangerous in a world addicted to emotion. So here is your mission. Stop reacting. Stop explaining. Stop chasing. Choose what matters. Ignore the rest. Walk like a man who needs nothing. Today, not tomorrow. Practice one act of indifference. When someone tries to provoke you, stay silent. When someone expects your reaction, give them nothing. When your emotions surge, witness them, but do not bow. Do this once, then twice, and soon you will feel something shift inside you. You will become still in a world that cannot stop shaking. Become the bronze statue in the storm, indifferent, unmoved, unreachable. A man who stands alone and stands strong.